What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Blue Chip Prospect for another scouting report. Today, we are taking a deeper look at Victor Eklund from Djurgården in the Allsvenskan, which is the second division men's league in Sweden. He's had a great season and might have been the offensive driver on his line with Frondell, so let's take a look at it. But obviously, before we do that, I would love it if you took the time to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like the content that I make. It helps me grow the channel and it helps me reach more people. But anyways, let's dive in. So Victor Eklund is a right shot winger who stands at 5'11" and weighs in at 161 pounds, which isn't big by any means, but he does play much bigger and is way more disruptive than his frame would suggest. He's an October 3rd birthday, so he's one of the oldest players in this draft, but this draft is loaded with older players born in October and November. In terms of ranking, he's ranked in the top 10 by basically everyone, usually in the 7 or 8 or 9 range, but very consistent ranking overall for Eklund. When it comes to stats, Eklund scored 31 points, including 19 goals in 42 games, and also scored 6 points in 7 games in the U20s last winter. He's at 0.74 points per game in the Allsvenskan, which position him between players like Alexander Wenberg and David Pastrnak at 0.70 and 0.67 points per game, and players like William Nylander and his line mate Anton Frondell at 0.77 and 0.86 respectively. Eklund is a player with basically every tool in the box that grades at least above average. He does everything really well, but outside of his compete level, I'm just not sure if there's anything that really projects as high-end in the NHL. He's a dynamic skater with explosion, top speed, and edges for days. He's extremely pacey in every facet of the game. In transition, when he's controlling the puck, he can fly through the neutral zone. He gets the puck on the swing back, he gains speed through a few crossover, and he's just basically gone. I'm not sure if he's the most deceptive transitional player out there. He relies on his speed more than anything. He's not really trying to catch defender off beat with different routes and crossover patterns and play with his speed to create gaps, but he comes with speed consistently. And this could be said about basically everything in his game. I don't know if he's really deceptive as a player. He's just relying more on pace in a direct game over elusiveness and manipulations. But like I said before, the pace is everywhere. In the games that I've watched, he was a formidable forechecker. There wasn't many players on the ice who could create as much pressure and disrupt as many retrievals or breakout attempts as he did. Even when his team lost the puck after an entry or a misplay, he was as good as it gets to quickly apply pressure to the puck carrier along the board, disrupt any attempt at getting the puck out of their zone, take that puck back and bring it back to the inside to make a play. The combination of his quickness and compete can really give him this ability to keep the play alive in the offensive zone, where usually the play would be transitioned to the other side. But he's not just skate and fight, he has a really good vision mixed with good sense of timing and space. I said before that I don't really see him often trying to manipulate defenders like baiting poke checks and reach-ins or try to move sticks out of passing lane, but he's got the timing down though. He sees the lane as they develop and probably even before they develop. It's just that instead of creating them himself with deceptive handling and fake looks, he times his passes when the defender naturally moves his stick out or place himself just out of reach to block the pass. Obviously, the Allsvenskan and the NHL are not the same, and what he can do in Sweden at 161 pounds is not exactly the same as what he'll be able to do in the NHL at 161 pounds. But his game is all pro habits, and he's got the soft skills to make it work. You would often expect a guy of that stature to play a little bit more on the perimeter, especially against men, but Eklund wants nothing to do with that. He's always in traffic. He's always a player who takes the shot from the inside or past the puck to an open Frondell, from the inside to the flank. He's just constantly trying to work the middle third of the ice. He also stands in the slot and in front of the net for rebounds and deflection, but he would probably gain to work on his timing a little bit. But overall, he's got the hands, the quickness, the edges, and the vision to work in tight spaces, so he's gonna make it work, but I don't think it will immediately translate. Eklund is probably more of a passer slash playmaker than a shooter, but he does have a quick and compact release. I wouldn't say his shot is that heavy or overpowering, but the combination of his hand quickness, the precision, and where he takes those shots from will help him translate his goal-scoring ability to the NHL. As a passer, he's more of a small area passer than a thread-the-needle cross-size talent, if you will. He's very rarely looking to get the puck across the ice through obstacles, even when the space is there. He likes to use small passes to get the play closer to the net, or pass it down low so he can dart into the slot unobstructed. Personally, I see him more as a bumper threat on the power play than a half-wall type of guy. I think it uses his skill set better. He's also a very complete player, and not just defensively. He's a player that can kind of do it all. He can play with space just as much as he has the small area game. He can pass the puck through layers or make simpler, organized plays to advance the puck. He can shoot, he can deflect, he can jump on rebounds with decent hands around the net. He back checks and applies pressure defensively with the same intensity as he plays in the offensive zone. There's just nothing or not much he doesn't do well. He impacts the game in every facet with or without the puck. He's a guy that even when the offense isn't working one night, he'll find different ways to have an impact using his energy and intensity. It might turn out to be more complicated at the NHL level because of his frame, but I really love his work and intensity on the forecheck. He applies intense pressure as the F1, and when he swings from one D to the other on a neutral forecheck, he keeps his feet moving constantly. And for those who don't actually know what the forecheck does or what the Fs are, we hear F1 and F2 and F3 all the time, but what decides who's who and what's their role? I'm not gonna give a hockey strategy course here, but to make it simple, in most forecheck scheme, the F1 is the first player to enter the zone after the puck was either rimmed around from one side to the other, which we don't do much now, or when the puck has been chipped behind the defense in one corner away from the goalie on one side or the other. The F1 role in most cases is to apply pressure to the puck retrieving defenseman to either precipitate a pass because of incoming pressure or to force a pass on one side of the ice where supporting forecheckers should be covering the passing lanes. There's obviously also a physical element to where the F1 tries to win the puck back by either checking the player or using his stick work to get it back and start the cycle. I'm not sure about the physicality part for Eklund in the NHL at 161 pounds, but the other part he does very well. He angles the defenders to prevent a play to the weak side, and he uses speed and drive and keep his feet moving to effectively pressure the D into a precipitated pass along the board to the strong side where F2 or a D should be there in support. But all this to say that he's relentless and plays with the same intensity all over the ice. Eklund is an offensively minded two-way winger with smarts, speed, and skills. I don't think there's really that much that he needs to improve upon to be an effective NHL player. What he's doing at the pro level is already impressive, especially his intensity and physicality for such a light player, but I feel this is where most of the work has to go. He needs to get stronger and heavier. Doing what he's doing against men in Sweden is impressive, but it's the second division of Swedish hockey. It's a long way from the NHL. I think he's got the smarts to use his stick and to win puck battles, and he already has great habits of forcing body positioning to gain at every advantage he can get, but there's no doubt that getting heavier and stronger will help him maintain his effectiveness within his style of play at the next level. In terms of projection, he definitely projects as a top 6 winger in the NHL. I wouldn't say it's the most likely outcome, but he has that first line winger ceiling, but he has so much B game to fall back on that in the worst case scenario, he's a middle 6 winger who can play on both special units. As a comp, I think he has that spark plug type of energy with offense, physicality, and speed a bit like Seth Jarvis. Can he reach Jarvis' level of greatness? I don't know. There's very few Jarvises in this world, but I like the style comp. So there you go. That is it for Eklund. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.
Hetaste positioner framför. Här kommer målen. Här kommer Eklund och 2-0 Djurgården. Så hittar han Eklund i en perfekt yta. Han är liksom på väg runt. Men Eklund står kvar och vet att... Mer Eklund och mer Djurgården. Men det är en perfekt dragning. Avslutet är ju än mer kliniskt. Upp i krysset bara. Titta från den här vinkeln.